can recreate that in this game.
A lot of tipping going back and forth. A lot of tipping. So we'll see how this goes. And if the pressure from Wildcard will be quick enough, because is it one of those lineups where if they miss their timing, it's kind of over for them, or can they recover from a missed timing and go a little bit later into the game?
I think this is a very difficult game to call in that way, because later on you have Enigma. Tiny scales, I feel like, very nicely as well. So overall, it's not really... I don't think so. I think you can go late on both of these squads. It comes down to the execution. Like on the other side, you have Tricore of Ember, Bristle, and Dragonite, and they're really strong, but keep in mind that they are playing versus Midnight Pulse. A lot of damage can be dealt just by that AoE from Enigma.
3 bounty runes for Wildcard. Bignum stealing that one away from the DK with the Shadow Walk. How can Yuma respond here in the side of Heroic? Fade, a very, very, very good Enigma player. This is, I think, his signature hero.
Yeah, level 30 on the Enigma.
Usually the sign of a signature, right?
Yep. He will be playing into Fatal Bonds and probably Breathe Fire, right? So gotta be careful with those Eidolons. Sometimes no matter how signature the hero is, if you're playing in a bad matchup, it just might not work.
Definitely got to be careful with that. Giving up a lot of gold when you're giving up those Eidolons. 19, as we saw. And the Fatal Bonds make it very difficult to feel comfortable in the lane with those Eidolons to try and get them to split and everything like that. But KJ, you can see, he'll be attacked by Bignum, just trying to make him uneasy to step up into the lane and maybe Fatal Bonds those Eidolons in the moment. But we'll see. He'll come back and probably Fatal Bonds in just a moment anyway. Bottom lane, Schofield taking a lot of damage in this lane, and it's speed on the chin with the Tiny. How's this lane work out for Wildcard?
I thought that maybe as levels go by, Schofield and Bristle should apply more pressure. You do have a lot of damage from the two of them, but we'll see. I feel like there is potential, like, for both sides to get some pick-offs, especially if a Tiny gets close to the Jakiro.
Speaking of signature heroes, by the way, RCY on the Pangolier. This is definitely something he was known for when he was on the up and up from NA. Saw this a lot from him in Division 2 when we were doing DPC. He is a solid Pango player, and in my opinion, one of the most impressive guys on this Wildcard lineup.
Absolutely. From all the games that we have watched. The matchup itself is not amazing for him, and you can see that a little bit in the CS as well already. Analog pulling a tiny bit ahead, nothing too crazy though. And there's a lot of creeps pushing the towers, so RCY should get them.
Fade dominating this lane at the moment. A real easy time.
I feel like they need level 3, right?
Yamsun in trouble, and the Quills stacking. The Viscous Nasal Goo. Schofield with a dual breath. That's going to be first blood.
Yeah. Keep in mind, there is one problem that Tiny is having here. Like, he has no armor, right? And you're playing into the double hit from Schofield plus the Snot Rocket from Bristleback. There's just a lot of damage being dealt. Cool Spray as well, of course, physical. Well, even though it looked alright, like they were pressuring early on, comes level 3, unless Chen has some amazing creeps, this should be really good for Whisper.
Courier taking the long way out and around, and even KJ backing up to get that Courier. get a clarity for himself to continue to put the Fatal Bonds on and the Shadow Word onto Yuma. Do you think that Tiny should have no armor? Well, logistically, when you think about that, punching into a rock would hurt.
Yeah, but why would the rock need armor then, you know?
What rock?
Like,
is
why would the
armor?
rock carry a shield? Yeah, exactly. He's armor because he has 1,200 HP already. That's his armor.
You bring up a good point. You know what? I respect that.
Not too bad.
No, not a bad rebuttal at all, honestly. Kind of genius, if you ask me. Fade doing a really good job top. Really good job. He's putting harassment on, making Warlock have to go into the Shadow Word a little bit heavier. Even these Fatal Bonds really not doing a lot for him. And now Shadow Wording himself.
My takes are genius. We're in a problem, by the way, but
No.
let's see what happens. Top Fatal Bonds. Can they even take down these Eidolons? I don't think so. They just split. So what do you need? You need like a level 2 Breathe Fire to be used, but he is 102 right now with spells. So can't kill them off. Just yet, at least.
Bounty sticking on a KJ, making sure that this clarity, if he uses it, doesn't last too long, but you can see KJ backing up under tower. He wants to make sure that he gets enough mana out of this to, again, have Shadow Word available and Fatal Bonds when need be. See if Big Gnome does end up going back towards this Warlock, but there's a sentry that covers the lane, or the camp.
He zoned them so nicely. Like the Enigma plus the Bounty Hunter. They did a marvelous job on this top lane. And they are continuing to do so. Level 3 Dragonet versus level 5 Enigma. Yep.
How's RCY doing? He's 28-10, so he's gotten the lane back in terms of CS. Eidolon's starting to die. Ice Path reactivated. RCY. He's level 6, and he did go to the Thunderbolt facet for faster rolling thunder.
Yeah, we have been seeing a little bit of a resurgence of double crash, right, recently. But,
a little bit.
Yep, RCY going back to
Whisper.
Thunderbolt instead.
Whisper will be spotted, and they've got 3 heroes here. Big Gnome around. They'll kill the courier, but Whisper on the run, still alive, and eventually he should die. Ice Path comes down, and now Speed. He needs to run away as Schofield put the dual breath on him, but that's not going to be enough damage. So they finally get a kill on the board. But even without the kills, they had the gold advantage with how well the lanes are going. Ember coming over to contest this 7-minute Wisdom Shrine. And they're going to realize, hey, this ain't moving.
Yeah. What's happening here?
And then he didn't get it. Weird. Gave it over to Big Gnome. Okay. I would have said give it to Fate. He's halfway to 6. Give him that 6. Give him the black hole and then just drop it and go for it.
He's gonna get it right here, right? Like under the
Yeah,
tower. And no one is even approaching
I got that
this.
greed in me.
No one is coming close to this beast of an Enigma. Like everyone is afraid.
No, not at all.
Look at the Dragonite, how far he is in his own jungle. He's, yeah. This man is way too big.
But a couple more Mad Stones to get to a neutral for this Enigma could be important.
I have to say that Whisper, even though he died, he's doing a good job.
Shadow Word on him, easy kill for Analog. While he also bottles the regen rune. They're going to smoke and go towards top. KJ has 2 Black Grimoire charges, which would give him 500 experience, and that would put him just short. It'd put him at 622 out of 680. Good job, though, by Fade. Getting out of that area. Really good job.
I think he read the move, not only because they had a ward, which is obviously a massive part of it, but also Dragonite being courageous enough to finally come to the lane gives it away. So far, so good for Wildcard. All 3 cores on top, but it's not really a big lead.
It's not, but it's definitely one that could spiral, especially once they get level 6, but Bignum only level 3 right now. Just kind of far from getting track overall. Shakiro coming over. A lot of these heroes from the side of Heroic leaning towards top. And it's just going to put Whisper against Yamsun 1v1. And Enigma picked up those drums, has those tranquils. You're going to have drums as well from Chen.
Interesting that they're going for the same exact build.
Considering you usually would want, I would say, if he's got drums, go mech on Chen, right?
Yep. Usually Enigma is drums Vlads or drums pipe. Drums Vlads pipe even, that's the build. But could have went for pipe on Chen as well. I think it's definitely a little bit of a waste, but
Speed in a bad spot. We're only Thunder coming through. They've got level 5 on KJ. He could pop the Black Grimoire and get level 6. They'll get a kill here onto the Jakiro. He'll drop the Fatal Bonds. It ends up being a trade for supports, but the Sleight of Fist, the Searing Chains, the time of the Pangolier. RCY needs to get away with the Fatal Bonds. Also putting Fade down low. Sleight of Fist one more time. Fade goes in with a Black Hole, but there's the Chaotic Offering, and that will stop it. Fade ends up dead. RCY drops, and Heroic take this fight after bad positioning from the Chen, forcing the fight to start and putting Wildcard in a bit of a bad position.
Very nicely done by everyone on the side of Heroic, like just knowing, and they're also going to steal some stacks. They have these 2 beefy cores with no mobility, Dragonite and Bristle, and then they have Ember, who's not as tanky but very mobile. So they can go in, they can bait out all the skulls, and just make life very simple for KJ. Save his ulti and use it whenever he wants to. He's basically just sitting there and holding the button on the R, you know, just waiting for the black hole to happen.
Yeah, was holding the Grimoires as well, and then eventually popped them, got him to level 7. He's now got, of course, the ult with that. And it feels like the game just got way harder, and it pushes the back the timing in which I believe Wildcard are going to be kind of ready to fight and be on the timing that they want.
Yeah, they need the levels on the supports as well, and without the black hole, I feel like I'm not sure if they can actually threaten this Dragonite at all or shove him away from the lane. One hero that we did not see though in these fights is the Tiny. He's on top of the network charts, and he's getting pretty damn big as well. Has Echo Saber, going for Silver Edge next. Shadow Blade at least next for now.
Tier 1 goes down mid. Maelstrom already picked up by Yuma. His lane opened up significantly.
Amazing what you found laying around.
Fade going Lotus Orb. I get it, with the Fatal Bonds and everything, and the Dragon Tail wanting to avoid that, but the Lotus Orb, how much is it going to help him as Yuma gets a kill on a Bignum?
See a smoke up. They're moving down bottom. They have this diffusal. It's really good versus the Bristleback if they can find an angle to catch him. They also need some more damage. Maybe Tiny needs to go with them.
Still just level 5 for the bounty. He wants to get this wave so he can get track. There it is. So now you'll have that track, potential for some gold. Samson, he does have Echo Saber. And these stacks are being taken by Whisper, Analog, and Schofield. Bounty dropping all the way back towards where the shrine is for the 14-minute mark, but again, Can you get the tracks out? Can they get these kills if they want to approach going for this here? He's not actually even going to stay for the shrine. So 14-minute shrine is going to be picked up by the Jakiro. Bignum, I thought, might stay in the area. The only reason I could have seen them not going for it is if they were going to go for a kill, but they're not even doing that yet.
It's a bit hard. Versus Ember, you need to be a bit more careful the way you're playing Bounty. You can get caught very easily. Even the Jakiro can dish out so much damage to you, maybe even solo kill is possible. Keep in mind that they didn't invade the triangle earlier, basically because of the Warlock. I feel like he is the one deterring hero on heroic side. If he has his golem, you have to be very careful. Schofield, though.
RCY on this plateau.
No longer a peninsula?
I was corrected by a couple people in chat the other day, and I feel like I owe it to them to call it the right thing. But maybe we'll go back. It still does look like Florida, that little plateau over there.
It does.
Like if you really looked at it, that like you could see Fort Lauderdale, you could see Miami, you could see it all.
Yeah. Whoever is on that plateau from now on, he's the Florida man, and we can expect Florida things from him.
Gotta sing the song. Nice path. Coming through, Rolling Thunder and the Avalanche. Analog, he's going to remnant back towards Fade. Fade, all he's got is the Eidolon, so the Macropyre down. They should be able to get the kill on a Schofield. That's a track kill. Rolling Thunder ends up stopping. And from that, they get one kill, but it is a track kill. Crimson Guard picked up by Bristleback.
They have a lot of tracks as well. They don't see KJ, though. His positioning is good. They don't see him. And this might be a defended Tormentor by the time Jakiro comes back online. Let's see. It's much easier for Dire to take it, but anyone going in without taking a fight would be foolish.
Track just constantly being thrown out there. Meanwhile, RCY and Fade going over towards mid, but a haste picked up by Schofield. Little drums, and they could have the inhibit if they wanted to get this, but not keeping up on the bottom. Tier 1 tower getting beat up, and the Tormentor.
They gave it up.
All right. Torm shard for Schofield.
They didn't have Rolling Thunder, right? I feel like that was probably the deciding factor of their retreat. Like, because of them only having the Black Hole and no Rolling Thunder, they probably didn't feel comfortable contesting the Tormentor, even though most teams would. The position for Schofield now has a shard, which I was just wondering, what do you buy on this Jakiro to justify the position 4, actually, but right now he's just going for the standard 5 build, more or less.
Right.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just a 1K lead for now, but only 3 kills for Wildcard, and you're not really taking advantage of this track at all.
Top lane, Analog.
Thunder. Do they have the continued control? Yes, they do. Whoa. Blowing up Analog.
This tiny hits. 300 damage a pop.
And now they see KJ. If they can swashbuckle and get the inhibit and slow him down, they might be able to get the kill, but Yuma's made the rotation and the rest of the team coming over too.
This team of Heroics just feels so damn slow. The only hero with any mobility and any pace to it, it's Ember. Everyone else is... like, by the time Dragonhead gets the Blink Dagger, I guess it's going to change, but... look at Jakiro queuing up 2 bracers, by the way.
Yeah, 1300 health, 5 armor. He's
actually
kind of hefty.
He bought them. He has 2 bracers on top of everything else. Making sure the Tiny doesn't blow you up in one single jump.
Yeah. They'll go for Roche now. There's Black Hole available, but They're not going over this way.
So they are slow, right? But they're really strong when they're together. And if they can't catch anyone, maybe they can force a fight towards themselves. And taking Roche is one of the better ways of doing that. It just makes things very simple for Wildcard if they approach this game in a way that they're just splitting and catching people off. It's easier for them to do that than it is for Heroic. Specifically the two supports on the side of Heroic, like Jakiro and Warlock are, if tracked, almost free food.
Track on Analog again, but RCY, if he wants to make that happen, he is down towards bottom. He still has this amplified damage. He's looking for the shard. It's usually like shard into... we've seen a lot of hags early on for Pangos. This amplified damage pops, and it's very passive from Wildcard. From both teams, really.
Yep. A bit of a snooze fest this game. Because you have a black hole on one side, but you have the counter of the black hole on the other. Top lane, though, Yuma. Look at
Avalanche.
that Dragonite.
Toss, chaotic offering used. But Yuma, not a lot of life remaining, still getting quite low. Not dead just yet. They're going to Rolling Thunder over and try and get all the way to Yuma, which RCY does with the Rolling Thunder. That was still good, and Tiny ends up alive and avoiding that dust. Whoa, avoiding everything.
Get away. Yep.
He doesn't have TP.
Good Rolling Thunder, amplified damage, saving the day and killing the Dragonite. So they killed the DK. They also baited out the Warlock Golem, which means that Fade can find an easier way of approaching these fights and maybe even using his Black Hole.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I wonder if they go for it. Shrine of Wisdom going to be picked up by Analog
Dire's bottom tower
and the
is
Bounty
under
Hunter.
attack. Radiant's top tower is
One thing
under
that needs to
attack.
be said as well, Fade, he doesn't have a BKB. He doesn't have anything like that, so it's not only the Golem that can interrupt the Black Hole, it's many other things
Denied.
on the side of Heroic. Did you like the way Dragonite died, by the way? He died so damn fast.
He got really low, and then RCY diving for him to the tower with that Rolling Thunder.
I mean, it's just a tiny damage, right? Like with this shard now having the Forever 3 plus 300 and what, 50, 60 damage per hit. It's quite a lot.
It really is. I would have liked to see Nigma go for something, knowing that, like you said, there's no chaotic offering. And Shard now Ags for RCY. They TP some heroes over bottom. This might be it. And this might be it going for Analog. RCY's got the Blink Dagger and the Rolling Thunder, but the Sleight of Fist. And now Analog, well, he's going to leave KJ to die with the bounty using that track. But Analog actually sticking around for a moment.
That was so clutch. I don't know if you noticed, Fade, the moment he TPs in, he moves up top and plants the... Actually, that was the KJ sentry. Yeah, never mind. But the sentry was a little bit too late. That's what I meant. Like, the sentry was there, but the Glimmer Cape was already in. A bit too late by the Warlock.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yamsun with the ability to blow up that tower. He does have Silver Edge. They should have Dust, and they do have Dust. Yamsun, Avalanche, Sleight of Fist, toss up into the air, and they're going to get a kill here onto the tiny wall over bottom. Well, now the Black... Oh. Black Hole. The blade.
Black Hole. Black.
Fade. That's...
And the tips.
And a kill on the Bignum as well. Hi.
Radiant's bottom tower
What
has
happened?
fallen.
I think he missed it.
Yep. It happens. By the way, I know we are seeing a lot of Corrosive Dragon. I really like the Frost one versus Tiny as well. Because he already kinda has attack speed problems, movement speed issues as well. Frost Dragon alleviates that. Yeah, makes it worse. Language is hard to get.
We're gonna replay. Looked like he might have had his Malefice reflected.
Bottom tower has fallen. Dire are scanning. Dire's
Interesting.
top tower is
So
under
Lotus pays off for Whisper then, if that's the case.
Yuma.
Yeah, he's in some trouble. Rolling Thunder, man. Half health, he just kind of crashes down and dies. Ice Path, Liquid Fire, and the Macro Pyre. Chaotic
That's a roll.
Offering all committed here.
They do catch him.
Alright, Searing Chains, they do get the catch. Now another Ice Path. And a God, Yamsun Avalanche Toss not doing any
Whisper
damage
in the
there.
back.
And they do get the kill, and now Speed. He is going to die to Whisper.
Just another kill. It looked so damn clutch. Like not connecting most of their spells on the Tiny, but still catching him.
They did end up getting the kill there onto Yuma, though, so at least there's that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
There is BKB next for Enigma. And a Blink. He's got this Lotus flying out.
I'm just worried about this transitioning time between the full utility Glimmer Lotus drums into actually having the Blink BKB. Might be a little bit too long. And you are playing into a Golem anyway, so it's not like your BKB will help you that much.
Right. They don't have much of a lead here, and they did have track, and they have all these things. They're going another Lotus, so Lotus on 2 heroes for Wildcard when they get there.
2 drums, 2 Lotuses.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Somebody else gonna go
Vlads, please no.
Vlad's? Yeah, Chen's got Vlad's. Maybe Enigma gets Vlad's. And he does still output a lot of damage. His BKB coming in soonish. Not really that close, but you've seen that he can blow some of these heroes up.
Yeah, he's still really strong, but I feel like from all the games that I have seen on Tiny, this is probably one of the poorest Tinies at this point in the game. He's 1-3-4, not really having the best game
Ooh,
phase.
Ice Path. Tumbler's toy on the edge of the Ice Path. They stun him down with the Dragon Tail, and they will get Fade. Pinging
That's
that
a really
the
cool
enemy
ward, by the way.
has some vision. But it is not where he thinks it is. They're going to go for Torm again. Easy shard, right?
Yep, should be.
They all hit the Tormentor, so they all get access to the heal.
Radiant are scanning. Dire are scanning.
Now, Enigma's going to be back up, but with
Yep.
the way that the game is kind of heading, and Roche is back up in one. Just move the clock here.
Just try to read the clock again. It's up in like 20 seconds,
20
right?
seconds.
Like really soon.
You could fight this. I think you have to kill KJ first, though. You've got the Shadow Blade. Like, if you can get to the back lines and kill this Warlock first, I think your team fight and your ability to take Roche just gets so much better. And they will drums. They're going to try and catch KJ. RCY spotted him for a second, but the idea now is to go on to Whisper, who is quite low. Chaotic Offering committed. So if they win this fight now, Roche should be wildcard. That is a big if. They need to win this fight. Yuma with the BKB. He's hitting on a Yamsun as well as Big Gnome. Fade comes over with the black hole on it too. There's no Chaotic Offering to stop this, but there's no damage to follow it up. Fade uses this black hole, but for what? He is low, one shot from dead. Breathe Fire kills him. Fatal Bonds comes through. Yuma low. He'll end up dead from the Rolling Thunder. They get the kill to Big Gnome. Now they've got the Ice Path. They're going to look over at Analog, who's on the run. Doesn't have a lot of mana to work with. They're going to try and chase him, force him back to the Remnant, in which Speed is ready to get the catch on. Swashbuckle, no mana. Now Analog, he's in trouble. He's caught, and he shall die. It is Wildcard winning this fight.
Yeah, it looks kind of bad, right? Because they managed to zone out the Tiny completely. So there was no damage in the black hole. No damage until RCY turned all the way around. And he is just cleaning up. He's doing massive work. Like, look at the damage dealt. He's done 5k damage in that fight. Most on both sides, of course. Second behind him, Enigma, with Tiny doing almost nothing. Yeah, he's just not finding his place in these fights. He needs a BKB. Another one.
Schofield gets caught, and now look track. They'll not care about the reflection of the track. They'll get another kill and more gold. 2 heroes dead. RCY even thinking further. He wants KJ. He's gonna go and get him. Tumblr's Toy, RCY with the inhibit. KJ is dead, and another one bites the dust here for Heroic.
Yeah, last fight, he dealt 5,000 damage. Now he has 5,000 gold to work with. Almost an octarine for this man. And they've been having an amazing 2 minutes. I believe, like, Bristol was a little bit too far out. They caught him on that plateau. They killed him off. And the golem was too late. Like, the golem, first and foremost, is usually saved for the black hole. But it was used there to try and maybe save the Bristle back, but it was already way too late. So not only do you waste the golem, you lose him.
Macropire and the dual breath. Roche, he's still got some heal and some health.
Schofield.
But now, Schofield, he's going to be tossed over. Fade ending up getting that kill. He doesn't have a lot of life to work with, but he does have 11 wand charges. RCY going to move forward. They go to the Rolling Thunder. Or the roll-up, excuse me. He's got Rolling Thunder available in 5. They get the kill on a Fade. Now they'll look over with the Remnant forward. But the BKB been popped by Yamsun. Toss up into the air. The right click's coming in. RCY now with the Chaotic Offering. Oh, he's up onto the high ground, but he's hit with the Fatal Bonds. They get the kill on Yamsun as well as Big Gnome. RCY needs to run. Somehow this is Roche for the side of Heroic, though.
A much, much better golem this time around, stopping the Rolling Thunder and helping the Dragon just clean up. A much better fight, which did not look that great for Heroic. Chikiro died way too fast, but he already used his spells. Like, he already did what he needed to. And they were a bit too low on Wildcard. I feel like everyone was missing resources in this last fight. Very well played by Heroic to bounce back in. Good Ice Path. Let's just look at that Macropire. It dealt 50% damage to both the Tiny and the Enigma.
Shakiro dies, and you roll up here and swashbuckle and move around a little bit. But RCY, with such a little bit amount of health too, still commits to the Rolling Thunder right as it comes off cooldown. But it gets stopped by KJ with a well-placed Chaotic Offering.
Yeah, that Chaotic Offering was definitely necessary. Now we're kind of back square even, right? Like, they do have an Aegis on Heroic, but absolutely no gold advantage.
This Basher could prove to be very big for RCY.
One thing that I'm really seeing is Tiny isn't finding the angles to join this fight correctly. Like,
yeah.
Every fight he's zoned out first. Like, he needs to be the one dishing out the damage.
Radiant are scanning.
Pick up a couple Lotuses. Even willing to drop the clarity to fill up on Lotus. They've got Black Hole. No Chaotic Offering, but Chaotic offering up at 30. If they wanted to make a move, it would have to be now, but they'd be going into an Aegis. So the time they want to make a move, Chaotic offering most likely going to be back up.
Keep in mind that they are strong right now. They have the silver edge on Wildcard, even though they're playing versus Aegis. But Bristleback will have a BKB soon. And I'm not sure they'll have the gunpowder to take him down as easily after that.
Trying to go in Revenant's Brooch next. What does Whisper have? Crimson AC Lotus. Pretty tanky. 43 armor. And he's got some magic resistance with the Mystical Manager out.
Don't be fooled, though. Like I still feel that anyone can win these upcoming team fights. Midnight Pulse is incredibly strong in this game as well. There's a lot of very bulky boys on the other side, so...
Tiny... I mean, they're pushing in this creep wave. And he's going to be able to take a tower pretty quickly.
He can BKB TP out as long as there's no Warlock. So...
Oh, Silver Edge, Schofield missing the Ice Path, but that sends back Schofield, and they've got the track on him. They may even look to return in, but the side of Heroic walking all the way back.
Basically, Schofield TPing back forced this whole team to go back. They can't stand there for 4 against 5 if Tiny maybe TPs, so... They also want to outpush the top lane.
Stealing the Shrine of Wisdom. Life's good. And they are having Chen's army. Well, what was Chen's army pushing out mid?
RCY is already level 24. I know he just stole the shrine, but he's almost level 25. 35 minutes in.
Oof. Thinking about the chaotic offering. Whisper's got gem, so makes life for Yamsun and Bignum really difficult. But they do have a gem of their own on Pangolier. And maybe that works out for them into something better. Enigma looking BKB and Axe. It's still it's Axe. It's committing something onto the black hole.
It is,
which I find is such a heavy commitment for something that gets stopped in a heartbeat with chaotic offering, which means he's going to have to be very picky with his black hole.
Yeah, you can wait and use it as like the last nail in the coffin of a team fight. You don't have to be the initiating one. Keep in mind that what he's doing here is he's doubling down on the percentage-based damage, which is really good versus everyone on the other side. Like, you have some very tanky heroes.
Smoke, and they want to go all the way up and around while they're pushing the tier 3 tower in the top lane. Got to be careful about who you meet up with first, especially if you're using this Silver Edge and this Shadow Walk because of the gem and the Bristleback. They're pretty split.
Everyone is split. Like, look at how far Tiny is from anyone here.
And they're just letting this tower drop, and they're letting these racks take so much damage. Tiny's not going to be here, but RCY is thinking about the Rolling Thunder. And now it feels like a very split-up fight where I don't even think you could take it anymore. With the positioning that Heroic have on the high ground, this feels impossible.
Yeah, Heroic might have to go down bottom and defend, though. That's a double wave with 2 catapults, so maybe they'll have to back out, and they do. Dragonite's already out, and this gives them an opportunity maybe to at least devour the triangle. Maybe get a pick off.
Schofield, I mean, track gold is track gold. And if they could kill Whisper too, taking away this gem would be nice. But Rolling Thunder's been committed. Macropyre down to the ground, that's track gold. They're not going to get Whisper. They're not going to get the gem out of this, but they do get a kill.
It's still pretty solid, right? Like you said, track gold. I want to see actually how much in the fight recap they got. I'd say like 700-800, right? 1,000, damn. Like, yeah,
Level 2 track.
it's quite a lot.
Trending forward again. Whisper with the gem leading the charge. They've got the Lotus on a Yamsun. Yuma looking to wait out that Lotus and then maybe jump in with the Dragon Tail that won't get reflected. Got to look for the positioning of KJ. He's sitting all the way far back, waiting for that opportunity to throw down a Chaotic Offering. But with BKB popped by Yamsun, he'll throw an Avalanche to stop them. But Whisper's still moving forward. Another Lotus on him, and still the gem, still the vision, and still the opportunity to get a kill here on the Yamsun. Avalanche as well as the toss, the hand of God, getting a little bit of heal here for Tiny. They go
the black hole.
A black hole whiffed again, and now Fade. Even without using the Chaotic Offering, the black hole does not matter, but the Rolling Thunder coming through. He's right on top of the Ember. They got the bashes, but they don't get the kill to Analog, and they won't commit to it. Yamsun looking to get behind enemy lines. They have the track. They have the vision. They'll get the kill. They'll take an Analog, but now Dragon Tail and the stun on Yamsun. That's a trade.
Ice Path cutting them
Ice
off.
Path cutting off speed, and they've got more damage. They'll get a kill into Chen. And that's going to be 3 dead, no buyback for the side of Wildcard.
Yeah, that could be just high ground push. Do they have creeps? Creeps mid? Okay, with the creeps mid, maybe they'll be able to, I think, take the top Raxes, right? At least the ranged ones. 70 seconds without the Tiny. Oh no, this fight. They had... It looked so good for Wildcard because I thought they were baiting them in. Warlock, there is no way that he can follow through because Pango is also zoning him out. Rolling Thunder.
We need to get this gem away from Whisper. They still have Chaotic Offering. There it is. Fatal Bonds. Whisper still pretty healthy. He's going to run this through towards the racks, and they just cannot kill Whisper.
The maxed out Shadow Word as well doing a little bit of work healing him up. 2 sides taken, and that botched black hole punished heavily by Heroic. It's rough playing Enigma in these kind of series where your tournament life is on the line. It gets to you, and he had like 2-3 different opportunities, I believe, to use the black hole, but in the end whiffs it. Unfortunate.
Aegis now for Heroic and Cheese.
Yeah, Whisper the one taking the Aegis, actually, and Analog with the Cheese. Dragonet, of course, not the best hero to take the Aegis, but he does have the Refresher Shard. Double the BKB, double the form. Too bad. Can give it maybe to Warlock though, right? What do you think?
Yeah.
I'd rather have 2 rocks at this point, I think, but okay. Mid lane.
Rolling Thunder coming through.
Oh no, he's
not. RCY! Why? Oh, the Ice Path! Oh, KJ! No way! Oh, toss of a creep finally kills him. Analog, he's not able to do much just yet, but Whisper's still moving forward. He's got this Aegis. Schofield with the Ice Path. That lands. Fade. Taking out these trees. Still has the black hole. Can he land one to turn this team fight around? He's looking for the opportunity. He has Blink on cooldown, but he'll step up. He'll go to the black hole. It's going to be on the 2, but the damage, it's not there again yet till Tiny comes in. Yuma in trouble, but the Lotus Orb, the right clicks, the damage with the BKB, not enough. Yamsun, Big Gnome, Fade all fall. Heroic finding heroics in each other. RCY trying to get a kill, finally takes out Yuma, and he's going to be killed. That is a big spree taken out as RCY dead for 95.
How are they unable to kill them? Like, I'm literally not believing what I'm seeing. Like, 2 heroes get caught in that black hole and they still can't get on top of them to finish them off. Like, look at the damage dealt on one side. Like, again, Pango being the main one, 6,000 almost.
Avalanche, toss up into the air, but again, what is it worth? Whisper, kind of low here. Oh, but the Yogurt Seal Totem in the slow.
Yeah, Tiny trying to catch with the Silver Edge. Let's see, maybe, but there's a gem on Ember. And he's gonna find the region top.
RCY's gem.
So a really rough game for Wildcard. Like they're never finding, like even in this last fight, Fade, every time there's like a big black hole that he could catch, 3 heroes, 3 cores, he doesn't have a blink. It's on cooldown. He got hit by something, and it's just really rough. Even though they kill off the Warlock and the Jakiro first, they still don't manage to win that fight. 5v3 basically.
It took them a little while to kill KJ, though, right? It had to get that extra toss. It looked like he was dead, but he was able to escape with just a sliver of health.
He managed to even use all of his spells besides the Golem, right? Like he managed to cast out and move back. What would you choose here? Magnifying Monocle is pretty damn good. Ogre Seal Totem as well.
That with what?
Not sure what you would enchant, because he already has the Keen Eye. The thing is, like his Gale Guard, he already has 135 cast range, right?
Yeah, do you want to give that up?
Yeah, because what you're doing with Magnifying Monocle is you're actually losing some of the cast range. So. And it can be disabled as well if you take any damage. So. I think maybe
looks like he's just going to hold on to it.
He's got a blink, by the way, on the Warlock.
Now he can sit further back.
Yep.
Oh, I see
further
forward. Yeah.
Toss.
Okay. This is, again, somebody who's got the Aegis, not the best target to go for.
This Jakiro Axe as well is pretty damn problematic. RCY.
I was going to say looking like Megas, but now rolling Thunder on the back lines. They go to the Macro Pyre. That's with the Ags upgrade, making things a little bit difficult. They've got the Hand of God, the Swashbuckle forward, but Schofield now Force Staff deeper into the base of the side of Wildcard. These racks are going down. They'll focus it. They'll get themselves Mega Creeps, and now can they go back in? They don't have Rolling Thunder. They have Black Hole, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they just don't have the damage. There's a Satanic on Dragonite. You need to control him as well and prevent him from using it. Or else, there's no way in hell you're killing him now with the Satanic.
Mega Creeps are going to do most of it for you at this point. RCY took the minus 15-second Rolling Thunder cooldown, so it is on a 48.8-second cooldown at the moment. Still, though, feels really rough. They are looking to go in. Whisper finally doesn't have this Aegis. They've got the Harpoon. The Ice Path placed down, but it's not going to hit on the Yamson. He pops the BKB anyway. They get to kill a Whisper, who doesn't have that Aegis. Rolling Thunder on the back line. Maybe they can kill KJ. One shot from dead again. Throws that tree. Gets the kill. The Chaotic Offering is going to be an undead. They've got the Sight of Fist, the Searing Chains. They go to the Black Hole. It's going to be on a Yuma. Can they get the control to get the kill on the DK? This is going to be Yuma popping it, but not surviving. I believe popped that Satanic, but just didn't get the damage off to survive any longer. They had creeps inside the base. They had to disengage, but they still were maybe looking at going for the Jakiro.
Yeah, perfect pickoffs, right? Like you get
Schofield. He looks like he's going to be dead. It's going to take a while with it just being the 3 heroes here, but finally, Ember showing up, Sleight of Fist coming through. Again, is this who you want to go for? Analog doesn't exactly have a lot of mana to work with, so they've got some control. Yule's up in the air. Now RCY is in. He's got the Diffusal. Now the Nullifier onto the Ember. They've bashed him up. Analog, he's going to die here. And another one. That's a full team wipe for the side of Wildcard.
What the hell did Heroic just do? They threw a massive advantage they had. Of course, they still have Mega Creeps, but it's not like Wildcard cannot defend. Like, they have a tiny... There's a Refresher Orb flying out. Who's got that? Ah, that's for Pango. Okay, he didn't complete it yet, but he's getting there. Aghanims will be done on Fade. Keep in mind that this team of Wildcard, when they get to your base, all they need is one push. Right, this is 700 damage dealing tiny, as you could just see. Even versus Mega Creeps.
That tower had like 100 health. Just saying.
I know. But
I don't want to put down your point here, but to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not wrong.
They have mega creeps down bottom, but they have to left door. They can't
Guys?
do a lot.
Tiny's coming. Gosh, they take buildings pretty quickly. I mean, that one didn't even crumble. It just sinks into the ground.
That was maybe a sign for Wildcard on what they need to do in these fights and how they need to approach them. Warlock just needs to die fast.
Tiny's not here, by the way. He's not gonna.
He has troubles.
Yeah, but they need creeps to stay alive for him to get there. I mean, I guess, yeah. You know what? You should be fine. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right.
He needs to outpush, yeah. He's the one with travels, so outpushing, TPing to them. Maybe on a Chen creep or Eidolon.
Speed doesn't see that timer, but I can't read it anyway.
About 20 seconds, 30.
No, come on. That's like 24 degrees. And shard for Yuma.
There are still some shards.
He has access to Fireball. You know where Tiny's pushing. They're gonna try and get him singled out, knowing that he's the one pushing the base or pushing the creeps away from the base. But he TP's back home, and now immediately they draw on the map to go towards where Wildcard are, unbeknownst to them. That kind of showing that they have a sentry. They have a couple sentries in the area. See if there's a fight. Rolling Thunder thinking about it now. Ooh, missing Yuma. Missing Yuma. RCY. This Rolling Thunder wasted. He's got Refresher. But that Rolling Thunder ends up being wasted. 38-second cooldown, not that long. But they've got the Sleight of Fist, the Searing Chains, the Lotus Orb. Gonna purge that off. Speed gonna try and run. They go to the mech, and now he's up towards the creeps. TP out. Oh, I spent the short. Oh. That was so close. But they still find Big Gnome, who's also got a Lotus. Reflecting back the Viscous Nasal, who somehow he's able to run away from the entire side of Heroic.
I think Chen got actually frozen, but in the base. I think it still disconnects. Like it was one of those. It's, yeah, very, very close.
So Rolling Thunder now available. The wasted Rolling Thunder doesn't end up mattering. They're going to smoke up. They've got Eidolons trying to push out bottom. They're into Roche. Wildcard recognizing that they need to make a play here, but the Remnant over, and this is a lot of damage, but there's the disarm. Are they going to get here in time? They've got to try and commit to something. They got to try and go. Blink! Oh, he's in! He's in! It's got a sliver of health. He's just going to be picked up by Yuma anyway. The Dire still get the kill. RCY trying to get the control with the BKB being popped by Yuma. The Avalanche as well as the toss. It's out of the Jakiro of Schofield, but he's still alive. Drops down the macro pyre. Big Gnome in a little bit of trouble. They've got Yamson with the BKB. They've got the damage to get the kill to Schofield. Feed's going to be in the macro pyre. They've got the right click on an analog. He's got no mana. He's got no life. Yamson with the double kill. There are creeps in the base, though. These are mega creeps. You got to be aware about how long this fight lasts on for. They found themselves KJ. They'll get another kill. The Chaotic offering in death. 3 heroes down on the side of Heroic. They'll chase after Speed. But again, the creeps, they're taking the base. You need to be careful, guys. The creeps are taking the base. You've lost both your tier 4s. Tiny has to come all the way back. The throne is exposed and taking so much damage. But finally, Tiny's there to help out.
They do manage to back out with a lot of heroes, right? Like any buybacks? No buybacks needed because no one died.
Yeah, they got 2 buybacks out of Heroic, though.
Yeah, they got 2 buybacks and they defended the base. Sure, they did lose the tier 4s, which is pretty important, but they do have a glyph, though.
Thinking about the Rolling Thunder again. Yamsun in Viz with this Silver Edge, trying to make a move, trying to go forward on Yamsun, onto Yuma. Oh, Yamsun, no BKB, but he's got the Lotus Orb, the right clicks with the Hurricane Pike coming up from Yuma. Yamsun's going to be a little bit low, but they go after this Ever, who did buy back. Can they get the control? Can they get the kill? Yes, they can. He had cheese, but Analog not able to get it off. They've got a Golem hitting into the throne. Yamsun's going to be able to buy back. They've got this tracked again onto Yuma. Avalanche connects. They'll look over. There's the Refresher with the BKB. Fade needs to run back, but now reflecting that Dragon Tail. He's got the Lotus. He's got the heal. He's able to survive, but there's the 4-step back. They've got themselves the Harpoon. The toss up into the air. Yuma's in trouble. He'll end up dead too.
The throne needs to be defended.
Still in onto the throne, but they've got Yamsun and Speed back.
Yeah, at this point, I think you need to force this. somehow just go run down mid, let the Tiny defend. He has travels, and perhaps force the buyback from the Dragonite as well. You know that there's no buyback on Ember. This is... I'm not sure you're gonna get a better opportunity. This game is absolutely mad.
You could try and push it to go straight fours. He
it's
wants
unlikely.
Divine on Yamsun as well.
Yep.
But he ends up switching out instead.
That's all.
He had it queued up.
Another problem that they have is Yamsun has no buyback. So if he dies here, the game is over, but in the other way, right? Like, he needs to be very careful.
Schofield standing still. Malefist, BKB, Yamsun gonna clean up this Jakiro. He's got the tosses. He'll get the kill, and now it's time to work on these buildings, but they go to the Rolling Thunder. It's going to be on a Whisper. Whisper now going to be the one who ends up getting chased. They left the tier 3s. They've got the break. The macro is going to be placed down, but Yamsun's going to be careful. They get the black hole. It's on the tomb of the Chaotic Offering. Stops it. He goes to the Refresher black hole again, pulling them all in. KG can't get it into the well. He's going to be killed off. Both supports are dead. No buybacks available. Faking it. You have the Lotus Orb on him to try and survive a little bit longer, reflecting that viscous nasal goo. But Bignum with the TP out. The Abyssal Blade is there from Whisper. They'll get the kill onto this bounty. They still don't get the tier 3s though, and Yamsun forced to go back for Mega Creeps again.
Yeah, they don't get anything but the diebacks, which is still pretty significant, right? Like, they forced the two. The Whisper, actually Whisper didn't die back. It's just the Schofield that did, but this game is absolutely insane.
It's a 23,000 net worth lead for the team that only has a throne left.
Yeah. And this Tiny is just becoming absolutely massive. He isn't becoming, he is absolutely massive. Level 28 now. One problem that they are finding with him is like his sustainability once the BKB is out, because they still find so many ways to kite him. That, like, you could see even in that fight when the black hole was good, Tiny was running back into the trees to TP out. He knew that if he dies there, the game is over. He has no buyback.
He's got no buyback for 5 minutes. They're going to have to try and hold like that. 5 minutes would bring them to 60. Yamsun has a BKB available. Creeps pushing in, but they don't have their two supports. The Chaotic Offering being the most important thing, but they don't have a black hole either. They'll go to the BKB. Yuma, he's in on this one, but the bash just come out from RCY with the Ags. They're trying to get the control onto the DK. They've got the bash once again. Yuma in trouble. The right click's coming through. The fireball down with the satanic. It's not going to matter with the toss.
Oh, he heals. He heals.
He's healing. He's healing. He's not enough, though. And he's dead with no buyback. They're still looking for more. They still want Whisper. They still want the Ember, but Creeps push in onto the throne again and stop this buyback.
But wait, Dragonite didn't buy back. He just spent his gold. That's why he doesn't have it. He actually does not have buyback because he bought out.
Oh, no. I don't think they get pushed in. I don't think it ends up costing them. But still.
These heroes still defend so damn well, right? Like, the Jakiro, the Warlock, you probably can't push into it. But this game is absolutely mad right now. There's a way for them to wait out, right? Like a couple of extra minutes, get the buyback on Tiny, and then try to do something.
4 minutes, so it's so long.
Yep, it is.
But with the way it's going, it almost makes me think that Heroic are going to wait till next Aegis. That gives them 2.5-ish minutes, plus whatever we get on the clock. Maybe you get there as Tiny?
I'm not sure you win the fight around the Aegis, around Roshan. I'm really not sure that they can. 23k advantages. The stronger team right now is the Radiant one. Wildcard, they only have this Mega Creep problem, and that's it. They hit harder, they have more control. This Black Hole cannot be countered any longer because he's got Refresher. Warlock needs a Refresher off his zone to stop it.
Definitely does. This is... they have 24% chance of winning with a 23,000 net worth lead, but they're down to just their throne against Megas. It's kind of... When have you ever seen a similar situation?
Yeah. There was like one period in that last patch, or a few patches ago, when Mega Creeps were almost constantly played against with all the Medusa picks and whatnot, but
right.
I haven't seen it in a bit. This is not like this, at least.
Tiny's still 2.5 minutes away from having buyback available. But the heroes that do have buyback exist on the side of Wildcard. RCY can do enough, if need be, I would say, to hold out for Tiny to get his buyback if it came down to that.
Almost level 30, by the way, as well on RCY's Pango.
We saw how much the Swashbuckle was doing.
Yeah, keep in
And
mind.
actually now RCY is the one who's cleaning up these creeps, giving an opportunity for Gamsun to potentially get a pick off here. But it's just 4 heroes. RCY, he's got bots too as well. But he needs to clean up these creeps. He can't let them hit the throne if a fight goes on. Whisper towards the edge. There's the Lincoln of the Dragon Tail. They're going to go for Chen. They've got themselves the Ice Path as well as the Macro Pilot's going to be down on both supports. Wind Waker falling back speed. He's got buyback, but Gamsun with the BKB and the RCY with the roll. They got the control. They're going to kill an RCY. Now they're going to get Gamsun out of here. He doesn't have buyback. You got to remember that. His buyback's still down for 1:32 seconds. Black Hole gets used. Toss up into the air. They've got the Mystic Nasal Goo, but do they have the damage? They get the kill to Analog. They'll take out the Ember Spear. They'll look over the rest, but Gamsun ends up dead, and so does Fade. They lose themselves. 3 heroes here. Buyback's committed. It's actually 4 with the buyback coming out from Chen there too. Bignum's gonna die. He doesn't have buyback. Neither does Yamsun for now 72 seconds.
Oh, defending on Dire was easy. Defending on Radiant without the buyback on the Tiny, I fear it might be almost impossible. They don't have a buyback. Black Hole, right? They do not. It was, I feel, a little bit too late. The ice paths from Jakiro were just beautiful. Like Schofield, Macropyre, and the ice paths. That's doing so much control. And poor RCY, he puts a travel on the Tiny and just got absolutely demolished before even managing to use the Rolling Thunder in any good way.
Tiny's going to get another chance here. 36 seconds till his buyback, but they are waiting for Roche, and it's up, and they're going to go for it. But that's not going to take 68 seconds, so he's probably still going to have to buy back. I would say. This gives Refresher Shard to KJ, which is the biggest part. Stopping potentially both black holes, but there's still 100 seconds till that's even a thought. KJ with the Refresher on cooldown has Chaotic Offering, and they don't give him the Shard. They give it to the DK.
Radiant are scanning.
Oh, actually, I didn't realize, he doesn't have enough gold for the buyback that was on cooldown. He's still going to be dead for 15 seconds.
Radiant's ancient is under
10. 10. They have Glyph. The banner down, Rolling Thunder from RCY. The Remnant looking for the backlines, trying to go towards Fade. Fade doesn't have a black hole. Doesn't have a BKB. He's got the Boots of Bearing. They've got Tiny back up.
Radiant's ancient is under attack.
Link in from Yuma. Avalanche in. Macropyre down. Ice Path going to follow that up with BKB caught by Yamsun. They'll go and get the Aegis out of the hands of Yuma. That's at least one right now, but it's just the Aegis. They've got multiple cheeses. They're going to Remnant over. They've got the Sleight of Fist. They've got Analog with the BKB, but now Ice Path once again. That's going to be Yule's up into the air. They're going for the throne. It is exposed, but they still have the Glyph. They're finally going to try and control Bignum and control Yamsun. They'll get the kill, but he does not have buyback. He is still 600 gold short. They go to the Glyph. They've got the black hole, but do they have the damage? RCY trying to get the damage out on Yuma. Chaotic Offering going to be committed here with the Refresher being used by Whisper. RCY can't get it done. GG is called. Heroic take game 1. There, I have no idea.
It'll be great. It'll be fun.
But I'm interested to see how the Tiny does now for Heroic, because Yamsun on Wildcard showed that it can be really strong, and he went to the Echo Saber first, and he really put a hurt onto Heroic, and I feel like they kind of see that in that last game and want to go for it as well.
Okay. I mean, I think that there's a good chance that that ends up happening. I think the big determining factor is going to be, okay, you've got like tremendous team fight out of Wildcard. How do these Ravages work? I think every single Ravage that you get for the first probably like 25 minutes needs to be like not just hitting 2 to 3 heroes, but translating into at least one of those heroes dying. and more likely than not, the fight being one-handedly, because as soon as those ultis are off cooldown, you can sort of cycle between, you know, the DP ulti. You can throw out a bunch of the puck stuff that comes, like, and you know, you normally think like, okay, well, you've got the exorcism and time zone here that you need to sort of like play around. But the other 3 heroes of Wildcard are not really that cooldown limited. You know, Dream Coil, only 75-second cooldown. You can keep that one running. The fights for Heroic have to come through Ravage. Whisper needs to have a good game. Luckily for them, Whisper is a really good player.
Yeah, Whisper's played pretty well. The one thing that concerns me, and you know, Wildcard picked this out in that last pick, is the lack of control that we were talking about in the draft, and that's something that always makes Puck feel even better. And I'm concerned for Heroic that they just don't have enough to shut him down. So I'm thinking, is there anybody here that maybe gets an Orchid for RCY to just kind of have that extra bit of silence and making sure Puck doesn't get away with everything?
Yeah, there isn't really a great hero to get it on. I assume that this Invoker is going to be going some of the more standard types of build of into an Aghanim Scepter, maybe a Midas at some point. The only one that like could maybe sort of fit it into their build would be Whisper. That doesn't seem very likely either. So I don't know. We'll see. There are some weird things that you can end up doing. You can like play around as, I think they're going to get a couple here. You can play around like Tiny as he comes out of phase shift. Maybe get a good like avalanche toss, because Puck is still going to be really squishy.
And if you can get on top of him, maybe you can shut down his game, because RCY, even despite the fact they lost last game, had an amazing time as Pango, and I thought he really kept the game alive for them when Yamsen was a little bit slow to the jump start of seeing Tiny feel strong. It's one of the things that I'm waiting to see here for Yuma too, and I'm curious to see Schofield and how much he wants to rotate. Does he come through maybe towards the Twin Gate? They go Disruption Arrow to open up the lane for Yuma a little bit. But we'll see how the lanes go. 3 lanes, 2 eyes. And a lot kind of going on as they already go for speed. They land the arrow in the top lane. They want this first blood, and it looks like they'll get it. And ooh, I think Whisper was maybe hoping that right click wasn't going to get first blood and he could get it, because he definitely had the right click time to get that.
I think so. I'm unsure, actually, because I think you could make an argument either way. It did kind of look like that, but I can also understand the argument of wanting to get Schofield off to a hot start, because he is going to be scaling a little bit more in this one, right? You're playing on this Mirana, you're arrowing creeps. Like you said, you've already got a great combination with the Shadow Demon, you know, disruption into arrow. So I don't know. I think they're probably okay with it, is what I would say. But Whisper will be reporting him.
Fair enough. Do reports in lobbies affect your behavior score?
Sadly, no. Unfortunately. We can work on that, though. You know, we'll sign up.
Nice Frog. Get on that, please. Thank you. Bottom lane. The Death Prophet, a very out there pick from what we've been seeing, but I'm kind of interested. Whether or not this lane's going to go that well for him, time dilation is very annoying, especially when you're pumping levels into it. But curious to see if that bottom lane can get anything to really work out in terms of kills for him. See where RCI is playing too.
I think it's a very strong hero to like put as the forefront and then allow Yamsun to come in at the end. Like I'm thinking about mid game, because you've got this morning ritual facet that's working. You sort of function a little bit like a Kunkka, right? Where you're just standing in front of the team fight, forcing them to go on you with the DP ulti. And it's kind of like a style of Dota that we haven't seen a lot recently, because more often than not, instead of like sieging high ground or sieging towers, people are just killing other heroes around the map. And then afterwards, you get like the towers. That's like all these PAs, you know, that just never want to actually go high ground. If they get off to a hot start, Wildcard can kind of push the tempo a little bit. And I don't know if they have to, but it's at least going to be an option.
Taking a look as... I'm taking a look as Schofield and Whisper. Not really. It's been pretty quiet. I mean, it's pretty quiet everywhere. Bottom lane as well.
you know, it's well, I guess it's the middle of the day there, so they don't have the early morning excuse, but
It's elimination. That's what I think the timidity is from. I think
That's fair.
that causes a lot of teams to, who may be super aggressive, play a little bit more conservative.
right.
Or teams that should play conservative play a little bit out there. I will say, I've seen that a couple times today already. Sunstrike onto speed, not going to be enough damage to get the kill onto the Jakiro.
Stars.
Kind of close. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Speed? I mean, 2 Star Storms right there. Or 2 of the Star Storm. Stars.
You got him. Got
There-
both of
there we
them.
go.
Oh,
Eat 2
Schofield
of
thought
them.
about the arrow. Dude, if he hits this, let's go Schofield. Oh my god, you might kill him. Speed dead.
Oh, come on. Schofield. Oh, and then now he's got the arrow. Oh, no. Ow.
Radiant's
Yep, son.
has been killed.
He didn't need to use the arrow for that Jakiro kill, and now they get both.
Wow. I mean, you said Schofield might rotate. He doesn't even need to. He's just going to kill everybody.
Yeah, Bignum, meanwhile, forced the time walk away. He is going 1-2, which is no surprise.
By the way,
Yeah.
that might be the first time I've ever seen that casting Dota before. A Marana used Starstorm 2 times, and it only hit 4 heroes total. Both of the Starstorms only hit Jakiro 2 times in a row. I've never seen that before. And then she killed him with it.
A lot of firsts. Well, some firsts for the tournament, but some firsts lifetime. But, yeah, I mean, that was pretty insane, the luck there. And let's see. They come back towards top. I'm worried. Because you're going to step up into this, and Ice Path is going to lock you down for a second, but KJ is here, and he's going to end up lining up an arrow for you if you even need it. He'll deny himself, actually. Gives up on a lot. And now you've got the Sunstrike. You've got arrow if you need it. Again, he just doesn't even need to throw arrow. They're just getting a bunch of kills in top lane. Oh, okay. This top lane's out of control.
Yeah, this is a big problem for Wildcard. I mean, at least your Death Prophet and Puck are doing well, but they're going to need to buy some time for Yamsun. I don't know if you can really rotate out, though, because you kind of need to keep your lane strong across the board, because otherwise Auk isn't going to have a mid-game to catch up.
Yeah, he's one of those heroes that can always try to catch up, and there is Leap, Schofield, all right, and popping a salve, so he's actually going to stay in this lane. They were looking for the time dilation, but that didn't connect. Waning Rift, they're just going to follow this courier. Schofield, yeah, you're going to want to, multiple couriers to think about, but not going for any of them. Doesn't even want to risk it. He doesn't actually have any leap charges, but he does have 2 Lotuses. So Bignum's going to, I would say, waste a lot of time because he just... Surely
Yeah.
you still survive here, right?
I mean, I don't know. I think he just walks away. That's... Schofield is owning. This is what Schofield does. Like, he makes you think that you're going to kill him, and then he just, like, either wastes your time or you kill him, and it's Schofield. And it, like, kind of doesn't matter because that's just how he dies. But I will say in this game, he is a, like, pile of money.
And again, they try to go for him. Dual Breath connects, but he just TP's down to bottom. I mean, he's got 300 health, and he's looking to get a kill here with the help of KJ. This arrow's going to fly forward and beyond the mark. Sunstrike again, and the damage is there. Schofield going from is he dead to no, fades dead.
He's absolutely owning. This early game from Schofield is really messing them up across the board. And it's, you know, it's one thing to get the kills with, like, the disruption into arrow combinations, but then also to be able to make it happen in lane before he connects with the Shadow Demon has set him up where now he's got 3 points in Starstorm. Like, he lives in that chase that the Faceless Void did because he got the level 4 at time and had leap up. Look at him.
Arrow again. Ooh.
Don't look at him.
Silence. Yuma. Tranquil on a 2 with this Exorcism. They're going to snap it on both these heroes. Yuma needs to try and get out of here. Oh, the Crypt Swarm. Still not enough damage, but the chase with the Exorcism not going to finish him off. Uh-oh. Cold snap. Fade, it'll heal up eventually, right? So they don't really want to commit into this, but they potentially landed a random Sunstrike. They could have done that.
Yeah, if they had vision right here, they might have gone in for it. They were throwing a random arrow, but 20 stick charges on Fade makes that kill pretty tough.
Yeah.
Living on puck was important. They need him to have a good game.
Yeah, he's pretty far ahead of this Invoker. Not the easiest time for Analog, and I think a lot of struggles for Heroic in this tournament have started with Analog struggling in lane because he is so important to how well this team does. And 2 games in a row where I wouldn't say he struggled in game 1, but RCY coming out of the lane feeling better.
Right.
And
I will say too that RCY, like the fact that he's a puck and that DP is sort of being protected by Bignum, this is really important. For Heroic, they need to keep this aggression up with KJ and Schofield because the mid game is going to look really scary for them. So these moments before level 6s, before the lanes completely break down, it's like integral that they keep getting kills.
Especially against the Alk, right? Because now you've given him enough time, and he is top of the net worth. You know, typical Alk things. But give Yamsun too much space, and I think you're kind of asking for trouble. Disruption should be followed up by an arrow here, and they've got the Sunstrike with the damage to get a kill, and that combo has been quite deadly for Heroic. And Schofield still involved in all 6 kills.
Yeah. He is their engine right now. You know, we talked about the need to get stuff done, and you couldn't really do it with Tiny because he's going to be a position 1 hero. Shadow Demon Marana, as they drop down the spray down bottom, they just put the face out in front. Yeah, it's going to be a tough couple of minutes here still. And when Alk eventually comes online, that's what they're going to be looking for. Speaking of which.
He'll see Whisper. Whisper level 9, by the way. He has had a lot of fun in his lane, but now this is going to be at a bit of a problem. Where will it be? Ravage hits 3. They've got the Avalanche. The Sunstrike taking out the Alchemist. Fade's going to be next. Oh, they lost both. That was Exorcism used. Time dilation will slow down some of these heroes and maybe make it just difficult for Whisper to get away. But he is a tanky guy, and he wants to continue running at speed and Bignum. So speed, he's dead to Yuma. Bignum's going to be able to time walk out, and that goes horribly for Wildcard.
That was huge. That was everything. I mean, the recognition by Tidehunter to call in those heroes, and there's been a lot of times when they're farming out this like ancient camp behind the tower that you would see players warding that high ground where people come through the gate because it's so well known that that's where you're going to be farming continuously on these carries. And if you don't get that ward, you don't see that Whisper has come through too, or the DP's come through too. And the other big issue there was that, you know, on this puck, RCY, that's a fight that you would love to show up to. He had limited resources. He's been trying to sort of get into this full Witchblade completed, and the fact that he was a little bit low, didn't have any bottle charges, it meant that he couldn't show up to that fight. And Heroic, that's exactly what they need to do, right? Again, I think that when you have this strong connection of you know, heroes that have big ultimates, you need to shut them down early. And now an Alchemist is behind a net worth. Like, this is never where you want to be. His team is behind a net worth, I should say.
Yeah, and you take out, like you said, the big ults of the Exorcism gets used, and then Death Prophet's immediately dead. And there's not much that Fade can do. You're level 5 into the Exhort, and these Sunstrikes are dealing so much damage. And, well, not having the best lane and not having the most net worth, or kind of being towards the bottom of the core net worth, the impact that Analog still has here with these Sunstrikes has been massive. And they're going to go again. They've got the control. The Sunstrike drops down, and that is a dead Jakiro once again. And they are going to steal these stacks that were here for the Alchemist, making his life even more difficult.
Yeah, they're owning. Heroic is looking really good. They're just making the better rotations, catching out Wildcard continuously. Wildcard will be able to get the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. It's something for them. They are likely going to lose bottom. The big thing to watch for is, are they going to be able to get one of these wisdom shrines on Wildcard? Because right now theirs is looking probably gone, and Ravage is coming back off cooldown, which means they'll have it for the fight around the Tormentor.
Yeah, early Tormentors has been really the name of the game for this tournament, from what I've been seeing. Teams getting it as it spawns.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this ward over here in the river for Heroic has gotten them so much information. It's actually going to see Yamsun again. They wanted to rotate in and get that Disruption Arrow Sunstrike combo. So Yamsun has to be very careful, but they're actually going through the Twin Gate to potentially even fight for this Shrine of Wisdom.
You know, again, I've been seeing a lot of people sort of ward up that that area over there to the side of the real dire side Tormentor. That sort of is the pathway leading into those Ancients. And the fact that that hasn't been done has kind of allowed free reign for Heroic to just run around with this Mirana Shadow Demon combo and find these kills. They whiff on that one like you're talking about, but it's kind of done its damage already, right? It's 10-2. A lot of that happened early. They do have Radiance coming on Jensen right now. I don't know if that's enough to make them feel comfortable fighting. Like, DP doesn't have enough to keep her alive in these engagements, and the level 1 ulti only gives you 25% of the delayed damage off of her facet. It's really a little bit later, like around that level 2 ulti, where things start to feel really good for her.
They've got this Vlad's on Tide. They've got the damage with the Exhort from Analog, who's going through to travel, has this Midas, has kind of recovered, and is going towards this Ags. And I do worry for Wildcard, because if they don't land this as they go for Sunstrike and get the kills, under the tower, the Sunstrike missed, the Ice Path is there, and he tries to run it back, but these stacks of Shadow Poison won't be enough, or will. Ooh, I did that. That last one just clipped him.
Huge. They're going on Whisper up top now. If they get this, this is a huge kill.
The silence is there. They've got this Radiance, and they're going to Dream Coil as well. But surely, if he holds on for long enough, you just Ravage. But nobody's coming over. So they're going to let him die, and Whisper will fall. 4 heroes there to make that kill happen.
You know, you're talking about the Tormentors and people tending to go for them. You're seeing that Heroic are prioritizing shutting down the jungle of Wildcard. And that does work really well at trying to stop the Alchemist's farm. The one downside to this is that if you don't manage to shut down his farming around the map and you're not accelerating the game, you are going to end up in a situation where you're falling a little bit behind. Right now, that's not an issue, because like Heroic are taking a tier 2 tower down bottom. They can still retreat back and go get the Tormentor if they want. But it's something to kind of keep your eyes on, because this is one of the few times in a game like this where I've seen a team be more willing to like shut down the map than go and take that like free Tormentor.
Right. Now you've got the Blink Dagger on Alchemist, so he is starting to get that farm engine going. But it's still behind. You'd like it to be a little bit higher, and they're going to scan. They're going to see that they're going for the Tormentor. Sunstrike connects, and they will not lose Schofield. They've got this heal, so everybody that helped get the Torm will be healed up.
DP was really the key to like things going well early, and that death with Exorcism hurt her so much.
Yeah.
Like Schofield is almost even with her after getting that shard. And it's just a testament to the problems. Like, has this Kaya done trying to get into a BKB? I think BKB is where you can start to like feel somewhat better, but only if like Tiny is not wailing on you. And Yuma has looked really, really good so far in this game, remaining active on this Tiny.
I will say I'm a little bit surprised if Schofield commits to this blink tag.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Oh, Fade.
Arrow off the mark. Fade though. Sunstrike. Ravage committed, and they're going to get the kill. They were trying to hold out on that, hoping the arrow would hit, but they get the kill anyway. And that's well worth it. Shutting down this Death Prophet, who's a big part of this team fight and this pressure, because we talked about it in the draft, right? Wildcard wanted to use this Exorcism and this early timing to push towers and maybe close the side of Heroic's map, but The reality of the situation now is their map's the one that's getting kind of squeezed.
Oh, yeah. No, it is. And you have a DD here.
Walking into a Sentry. And RCY is trying to get a kill into KJ, but they've got the Moonlight Shadow. Sunstrike on RCY. He gets caught. So now you've got no Amplify damage. Speed's going to end up dying here, too. You've got 2 more kills for Heroic. And there's not much Yamsun could do. He charged up the stun, but he ends up just backing away, stunning himself, and leaving.
It's very unlucky, you know. When it's just a lot of unluck happening. That's what we're seeing here. That's my analysis. B-Cop, back to you.
Thank you, and the weather is great outside. It's looking real good here for Heroic. They're kind of playing everything right, and I think that their movements, you said it, prioritize the map and kind of shutting down the jungle and everything is leaving them in good spots against even the aggressive plays from Wildcard.
Right. Yeah, and you can see, like, the Blink Dagger, I think, from Schofield was eyeing up the idea of, like, KJ getting 1-2, and then they could just initiate from really far away, find these pickoffs on the DP, but they're realizing, like, DP is not going to be a problem. If the game continues going this way, I mean, look what's happened now.
Oy, man. Hey, Yamsun dying here. The Sunstrike again. It just chunks you so hard, and they're going to get another Tier 2 tower out of this. They're moving over mid to try and make a counterplay from Wildcard, but they're not, like, Heroic isn't exactly showing themselves for them to get these kills. They back off the Tier 2 tower, and they're actually pinching. Whisper doesn't have Ravage for 23 seconds, and he's going to cut this wave off. But Tiny, let's see if he goes over towards the north end. I don't even think they want to go for Whisper. He's showing himself in the middle of the lane. They're not even walking. They're actually going to go for KJ instead, and he'll end up dead. But this is just a Shadow Demon, and with Whisper having the shard, that means you've got the Sunstrike to land pretty easily with the Dead in the Water, but the Time Walk away. And now you're silenced up. You've got Ravage in 3. Maybe that turns the fight, and that's exactly what he's going to go for. It misses on RCY, but Whisper's still dead. Yuma trying to get a kill on the Big Gnome, finally takes that out, but with the Spirit Siphon and the damage, they'll kill off Yuma, which is big gold for Fate. Yamsun joins in the fight. They've got the silence, but he just gets close enough to throw that stun out, and they'll get another kill for Wildcard. This is what we've been expecting from them for the first 20 minutes, and they finally get it to work out. And I think that's due in part to Heroic being overconfident.
Yeah, and also overcommitting onto the Faceless Void. I think that it was a really, really heads-up play there by Faceless Void to recognize I can drop this time zone, get this, anchor off of me. And once they had committed so much onto him, it meant that nobody jumped on Fade. Fade's build right now is max damage for what he has with no survivability, basically. Analog, he might get caught too.
Tornado kind of on point, but they still need to lock him down if they want this kill. RCY is here, Ice Path lands, and eventually the Waning Rift with the silence, but the arrow flies in. It won't matter.
I mean, this is a pretty substantial turnaround. Like, basically, Heroic have been banking on their ability to kill this Death Prophet every time at the start. They're still going to have to deal with the problem of, like, Blink Ravage Cataclysm since, Aghanims is now done on this Invoker. But if they don't get the lockdown, you've got double BKBs completed. This is a really big window for Wildcard here.
Yeah, even with the Blink Ravage. Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of worried for Heroic now. They had this amazing start. They're up 17-8. Like, there's so many kills to think that you're shutting down the team. And yet, it still feels like the net worth lead isn't favoring them at the moment with these BKBs.
Well, and the one caveat is that it is still an Alchemist, right? So you're still going to be seeing, like, Wildcard working from behind, but if you have one more fight like that where Death Prophet is not prioritized, then all of a sudden they're in, like, a lot of trouble, which is why you can see they're getting together now, smoking, trying to take a good fight. This needs to go well for Heroic.
I actually like this pickup. They were thinking about the Blink Dagger for Schofield, but he ends up going into the Orchid. Ooh, they're going to look for the stun that lands on it too, but there's the Kraken Shell. They have Ravage, but now Gush Disruption staying alive for a little bit longer. The Dream Coil not exactly that great. KJ ends up dead. Do they want to go back into this? He got Yamsun slowed down. There's the Cataclysm. Oh, man! That is big damage, and they get RCY. Orchid on a Fade who pops the BKB. He's got the Spirit Siphons and the Exorcism, but he's just going to TP out. You see the power that is Ravage Cataclysm as Speed thinking about getting the Ice Path onto this Invoker, reactivating it, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. The damage is heavy, the arrow misses, but here comes Whisper, and now 4 kills for the side of Heroic.
Really, really well played. I mean, that was the BKB fight. They jump up high ground, think they can find more, and they were not able to connect and kill onto the targets. And some of that was even just like vision issues briefly. You know, getting that dust out in time and all the rest of it, because you've got like a lot of the supports, they're just a little bit slower to catch up to the rest of them. Weren't able to get off, as you can see here, the out at the end. There was like a thought that maybe Fade could do enough damage, and I think that if he did have Exorcism going and he could keep everybody in place, that fight looks good. The problem was the rest of his team was dead and Jakiro had no mana, so he couldn't even throw an Ice Bath. There's still it's looking pretty rough now. This is going to be a tough hold for Wildcard. They're going to need at least 2 fights to try and pull this one back.
Yeah, it was 1 fight away previously, but now it feels like it's 2 fights away. It's just gonna get harder with the Sunstrike and the toss. Does Sunstrike hurt more if you're getting impacted higher off the ground?
Oh yeah,
it's not
no,
using as much time to.
You also need to get your sunscreen application. It's an item you can buy. That one helps a lot.
I wear 100 plus.
That's why you got to get a cloak to help you from pure damage, right?
All right. Yuma standing his ground. He's got the Sages. He's not really scared of much at the moment. There's no Exorcism, but a little bit conservative from him as they back up and then smoke to re-engage. They've got Ravage again and Cataclysm. This could be where this fight is potentially happening. This could be devastating. Like if Wildcard loses this fight and Tiny's still alive, all of a sudden you just start taking buildings and rounds. Or maybe the game. Honestly.
Absolutely. They need to find the perfect angle. You can't go on Tiny, though.
No, he's got the gate. It would be worthless. We just come back alive. They scanned. They know exactly where they're at. RCY is looking to commit, but you got to watch out for the Mirana's Orchid. He's able to escape that just by the skin of his teeth.
It's a little bit annoying now because RCY has the Yules, but you can potentially time like an arrow hitting the Yules afterwards, so it's not even completely safe for the puck having that Yules.
Yeah, you want it for that Orchid, but it would suck if that arrow hits.
Yeah.
Because you are stationary in that situation. Like, it is not that easy. And now Avalanche for where he was going to go. Cataclysm won't do as much that time. They do get the kill to Speed, though. Look over at Whisper, who already used the Ravage. There's the disruption to get the save onto this Tidehunter for a moment. Time dilation going to be used out of the Tiny, so he's out of the fight for a second. He's starting to walk away. They've got the Moonlight Shadow with the BKB popped here by Analog. Now turning this on the Jakiro, who did buy back. Yuma with the double kill, both on the Jakiro. Buyback used by Whisper, and he's going to TP into the outpost. They find themselves Analog. They've got the silence. They'll get the kill. They'll take out the Invoker. They've got the toss up onto Bignum, but E-Time walks away back to full health. This Exorcism getting Tiny low, but you got to remember he's got the Aegis to work with, and with that, I think Wildcard, they take what they got, and they back away.
It was really well played. RCY did that fight just about as good as you could have, trying to find the Invoker and then stay on him, force out his BKB to run away, but then not let up. Like, if they can find these sort of squishy, somewhat immobile heroes and not get completely blown up, this is where Yuma really needs to shine. Like, there was a moment there where it looked like he was almost able to catch the Death Prophet, and then right at that point, Bignum stepped in front of him, and he took the toss instead. Like, that burst damage, they need to find a way to kill the DP. She's kind of, like, obviously the Alchemist is important in these fights, but if Death Prophet dies, the fight is kind of over. She becomes really the centerpiece.
Don't get that extra bit of oomph in. Well, they've got the oomph there for RCY to get another kill. Yuma getting that one onto RCY, and he's a big component as well. And just, unfortunately, you know, now you're without the puck for 50 seconds, and when fights happen across the river like that, Yuma's here to take buildings very quickly. And he still has this Aegis. He got a regen rune, and he was back full health, full mana pretty quickly. Oh, and the alacrity. Yikes.
Yeah, that's rough. They also stole the gem. Schofield has it now. So harder to stay on top of this Invoker. They can't fight without RCY, so they're just spreading out.
Do they just go mid now? They've just about got the Ravage combo again. So fighting into this, honestly, might be ill-advised, because the Ravage combo is insane.
Chasing Bignum here, and Fade is nearby too. They might try and fight this in a weird position. I think Bignum is just going to get caught and killed, though.
Walk Tornado. Tumblr's toy to avoid it. And
God,
the
the Tumblr's
TP
toy is
attempts, and he's gone. Fade coming
stuff.
across here, and actually will get a Wisdom Shrine that should have been taken, I guess, a minute ago. They weren't by it.
Tormentor is back up. That might be a nice thing to try and sneak for Wildcard, getting a little bit of an injection of gold. Again, like, the game is looking really hard for them. This AC would be really nice for them to finish off on Yamsun. Obviously, at this point in time in the game, you're kind of needing to not save for buyback because you just kind of have to get whatever fight potential you have. Use all of your gold. They're in a really tough situation. There are still potentials for comebacks, but the game just feels very difficult.
Will they fight before? I would say maybe. I mean, they're going towards bottom. It's like the arrows they're making wants them to go through the base, through bottom lane. But at the same time, the smoke from Wildcard, nowhere near.
Right. They do get a DD, though. Okay. I think you give this to Fade, honestly. It looks like they're going to give it to Yamsun. But I kind of like the idea of giving this over to somebody else. So they'll give it to Yamsun. This is a big fight for them.
Yeah, Yamsun has to survive this initial onslaught, and now the illusory orb coming over, and they're going to avalanche. They're going to miss. They'll go to the Ravage. That's going to land on a couple of these heroes. So the BKBB pops here. They'll focus their attention onto Yuma. The Cataclysm already used, so the big combo not getting them everything that they would have liked, and they've got the silence, and this is split up as Whisper forces back the rest of the team. He goes up against this Alchemist, and now they've landed the Ice Path onto the Mirana. The right clicks, though, is it enough? They finally get Fade, so no more Exorcism, no more BKB on the Alchemist. They're still trying to just get KJ. He drops, but now you've lost your Faceless Void. You'll Ice Path to try and survive and TP out. But the look over is the Cold Snap, the Gush, the control on the Yamsun is a problem with no BKB. He'll charge up a stun, but I think he knows that he is outright dead, and there's nowhere for him to go.
Nicely played. Honestly, really clutch performance by Heroic. Again, perfect target prioritization. Able to sort of lock down who they needed to. The initial Ravage Cataclysm didn't end up catching like you were talking about, but it didn't really matter. And now you're just one fight one. You're going to take these buildings. Even if you buy back right now on Death Prophet, you don't have Exorcism for another 60 seconds. This should be... well, do they stick around for Megas? With no Alk, I think you can just chill. You can go for it.
Tier 3, and now they've got the Jet of the Water. They'll take out Big Gnome. They will lose Schofield. The buyback comes out from Big Gnome. Still 20 seconds till that Alchemist is back up. Fade coming forward, but he doesn't have the Exorcism. So really anything for you to get that is there more for you. And Yuma, I would almost assume that he's looking to go back in. He's got a BKB ready to go. But they back away, and they respect it.
Mirana is still like a decent part of your control and lockdown and everything else. I think that you don't need to push the tempo. At this point, they've got such a substantial lead on Heroic that it kind of doesn't matter. And they're actually going to find RCY again here. This is, if he dies right now, this is brutal.
Oh, boy. He is... Oh. Oh. Oh, no. There's the Sunstrike. Oh, avoids it. Phase shift. And now he gets to blink away.
there.
Close.
So they do get away that one. Yeah. I mean, it's again, like, so much of what you need to do from Wildcard at this point, it just feels impossible. And everywhere that you look, like, Heroic can farm out the other side of the map with Analog. He's got a sheep stick gun now. This team is looking to close this one out. And Yuma's played, like, pretty much a perfect game, it feels like.
Yeah, he's 13-1-7. Analog, despite the lower net worth early and the struggle of a lane against RCY, he had so much impact with that Sunstrike that enables his team to kind of do this. Whisper the same. I mean, they really opened up the game early on from, I would say, behind Schofield is the main one who really opened it up so far. They still got to win the game, but you were at a point where you're 19,000 net worth ahead against an Alchemist lineup. You're looking real good at this point.
I think that it was the Mirana definitely making those early moves that set them on the right path. His last smoke potentially.
Charging up the stun, but Yamsun's not going to have a target for that. Arrow flying in, just misses speed. They've got the Orchid onto RCY. He gets into the trees. 1.5 set of racks remaining. Ice Path. He's got an Aegis. He doesn't really need to panic just yet. Winning Grip pulls him in for a second. Tornado lands onto the Death Prophet, but now no more mana on the Alchemist. The Avalanche, he's dead. Yamsun jumped into death. No buyback available. They will try to time zone them out, but it is not looking good. Sunstrike kills off RCY, who's got buyback. Yuma's going to lose this first life within this exorcism, but the entire time he's holding the BKB. Ice Path perfect. There's the BKB. He'll look for the damage onto speed, tossing him up into the air, getting the kill into the Jakiro. Fade with the BKB of his own. With this exorcism still going, pushes back Heroic for a moment, but they certainly are looking to re-engage, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They've got the Hex. They'll take out Fade. The silence is there on a Big Gnome who's hit with the Avalanche, kept close, and now the toss on a Whisper. The time walk away, the buyback from Fade, but it's at least Mega creeps for Heroic. Again, another situation where Wildcard are up against Megas.
And this one feels much more hopeless than the last game that I didn't watch, as they are really not even able to fight into this. It's looking like an impossibility. Alka's up soon, but I don't know if they have what it takes here.
Oh, gosh. Bignum getting 2-shot. Charging up the stun. They'll blink in. They know that there's no BKB, but there's the Hex Cataclysm toss up into the air. Yamsun just as quickly as he respawned, he's dead. GG is called. Heroic take the 2-0, and Wildcard, unfortunately, this is the end of the road for them.
Honestly, like, going